What's up, y'all? This is Christina, Director of Co-working here at Club Best Richmond, and I am alongside the beautiful and wise Miss Gwendolyn, CEO of Moyo Institute. You won't let me call you guru, so I'm gonna find a way to affirm you in some capacity when we do these things, okay?
Thank you.
And over the past month, we sat and talked about, I forgot what we talked about. There's been so much today.
We talked
Being
about
present.
being present.
See, couldn't even be present in this one statement, being present. And it was a beautiful FULL month of meditations and teachings, and now we're moving on to new topics and new things. And today we're going to talk about where do you feel stuck in regards to a meditative practice. And I know before we get started with discussion, you always lead us down the path of getting our minds right, so I'm gonna let you take it away.
Thank you. And I thought we would really talk about like where people feel stuck in their lives and in their relationships and their job desires and all of that. And of course, the answer is going to be meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least one of the answers. So because that's what we're here
that's
for.
What
right?
we do.
That's what we're here
and that's
for.
what we do.
Yeah. So yes, let's start by connecting with the higher frequency energies. I invite you to sit with your feet flat on the floor, your spine erect, and take a deep breath in and exhale. Another one. Exhale. And one more. Exhale. So I invite you to connect with the God of your understanding, however you relate to Source, and by whatever name you identify Source. I invite you to connect with your higher sacred self, recognizing that we're more than simply physical bodies. Deep breath in and exhale. Connect with the divine presence that's animating everything in existence. Deep breath in, exhale. Connect with your ancestors. Deep breath in, exhale. And let's connect with the great compassionate light. This is the light that we will meet at the end of our journey here on earth. Feel your body simply infused with this beautiful, bright, golden white light. Deep breath in, exhale. As we give thanks for this opportunity to be together today, we'll say Shanti, peace, and so it is. Whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes.
Oh, good, man. You always come right. She always at the right time, man. I be forgetting sometimes Tuesdays is meditation, and then you come in, I'm like,
I just love making that connection.
Yes.
You know, the higher frequency energies are always present.
Yes.
But what we forget is to turn our attention to it, to those energies.
That part.
And to just allow them to be vibrating and moving through our being, giving us joy, and making us feel good.
Exactly. It's like it's literally there going like, hey.
Yeah.
Like if you just pay attention to me real quick.
Remember me?
Remember me.
Exactly. So I'm just really, encouraged by that. And I noticed over the years that, there were times when in the meditation practice, I would just go like, oh, I'm not doing that today or whatever. But, or like days would go by. But what I felt so much gratitude for was that whenever I turned my attention inward, I was met.
Yes.
So there's no judgment, there's no criticism, there's no condemnation. It's just unconditional love. It's just this divine presence that's waiting for us to connect.
Exactly. And then, like you said, waiting. So it's always present. It's omnipresent, as they would say. It's omnipresent, and all you got to do is take a breath.
Exactly.
Which I think is a beautiful transition into the topic we're talking about in terms of where do we feel stuck. Not just, we think stuck, it's always comes from career or progression of life and some capacities, but we can be stuck in literally anything.
Absolutely. One of the things that happens to us is oftentimes we get immobilized by fear. We're afraid of change. We're afraid of losing something. We're afraid of the judgment of others. And these kinds of thoughts and these kinds of fears keep us stuck, even in situations when we know that we're not being nourished by them.
Yes.
So I thought it would be really neat to just invite everyone to do some contemplation around what's going on in your life and if you feel stuck in any place, and to really begin to turn the attention inward to see like what is the reason that I'm feeling stuck in this place. What's going on for me,
right? And
like oftentimes we see this in very specific places, like a career, a job. We're doing that job because we got to pay the rent,
right?
We got to pay the mortgage or whatever.
Can you pay my bills?
Exactly. Exactly. But we're not feeling any inspiration, any motivation. In fact, when we go there, we feel worse when we come home than we did when we start. Exactly. And so the question that I have for you is like, what is it that is keeping you in that situation? And it's not to say that you should just hop up and leave your job.
Right.
No. There may be another solution to that.
Right.
But the very first step is to really begin to bring awareness to what's going on internally. Right. So that we can connect with guidance. Right. And make the decision that's right for us.
Right. And I always do, I love this conversation because I always do a reverse ask to myself. I say, instead of what's keeping me from moving forward, I say, what's keeping me from staying? Like, what keeps me staying? Because the reality is, we know what it is. Like, we know that it may be the manager that we can't stand, or the work that's not impactful to the community. It may be the coworker that always got something to say to you, or the relationship where the man is always talking down on you. And like we said last week, I think that was last week or the week before, where we said we are a reflection to the things that we accept or that we tolerate in our lives. And so instead of, because I know for me, sometimes the movement out of a situation is fear. I'm always asking, what keeps me staying? Because if I can tackle that piece, moving forward is not much of a challenge anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, you're referring to the outer world being a reflection of the inner world.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really good way to pose the question to yourself.
Right.
It's like, why am I staying in this situation? If we take the top line things away, like I need to pay the rent,
Right.
I need to pay my bills, you know, is there something else that's really causing you to stay when you don't feel fulfilled?
Exactly.
You know? And is there anything that you can shift in terms of your own perspective to bring more of a feeling of fulfillment in the situation that you are in? Because oftentimes it can be a function of our own negative self-talk.
Whew,
you know,
come on.
Like we feel that we're being disrespected, we're being discounted, we're not being taken seriously.
Right.
And those things may be true.
Yes.
And it may simply be that we're interpreting what's happening through that particular lens. And so we want to begin to bring awareness to what's going on internally in terms of our self-talk so that we can make a better, more informed assessment of the situation and a better conclusion.
Yeah, and what I found a lot of the times is what I feel disrespected by, I do to myself. So, you know, negative self-talk. I used to be my worst enemy. Now I'm my best cheerleader, but I used to be my own worst enemy and how I was never satisfied with my own output. So then when I would be in situations and work environments, thank God for COVID, because I got that problem no more. But in previous work environments where my manager would say it wasn't enough, I found that I would tell myself that I'm not enough.
Exactly.
And so because I felt that that's who I was as an individual, that reflection on the inner world, right? I was willing to accept in my outer world for my manager at the time that I wasn't enough. Then eventually something shifted where I realized it wasn't that I'm not enough, is she just got some issues that she got going on. And that was a reflection of her inner world. And so I stopped owning her inner world, and it actually made me a lot easy for me to leave said situation.
Exactly. So the way the whole process works is that we're in this field. You know, we think of ourselves as separate individuals, and we think that we're the only one that can hear our thoughts. You know, but I'm telling you that the whole universe hears our thoughts.
Come on,
you know. And so, like, whatever we're holding inside is being broadcast outside in the frequency.
Yes.
You know, so people are picking that up. And so when we find ourselves really getting that feedback, like, you're not enough, you know, it's really an invitation to look inside to see, where am I holding that?
Right.
You know, like, where am I feeling inauthentic, or like not up to the task, or whatever. So this notion of inner outer, outer world being a reflection of the inner world, is always calling us back to look within.
Yes.
You know, to look within. It doesn't mean that you accept bad behavior from anybody at any time. But it does mean that if we cultivate awareness, we're able to really tap into when we are the problem.
Yes.
Okay? When we are creating the problem with our own inner
world. And it's interesting because I've made a distinctive in tolerance and acceptance. And I was telling folks, you know, there's a way that we just tolerate stuff because that's how we tolerate ourselves, especially when it comes to like a reflection of relationships. Oh, she's just that way. She just always is that reckless when she talk, right? And I'm like, well, is it that, or is it that yes, that's her inner world, and your inner world is a reflection of that inner world. So you take that. And so you're stuck in a relationship with a friend, so to speak, that doesn't even serve you because you're not serving yourself in some capacities. And you know, like you said, you are the problem. It's like, well, it's not me, it's you. It's like, yeah, no, it's really me, because in a world where I've shifted that or I've made that acknowledgement, then I don't accept that anymore. I can't tolerate that anymore. And it's just, and it may not be like a whole dynamic, I'm free and all this other stuff, but it just may just be a little tune where you're like,
well, and what happens is the more you get clear inside, the less that shows up in your outer world. So it's not even a matter of having, you can take a stand. The stand is that I don't accept that, you know, but it's better if what's happening is coming from inside.
Right.
So for instance, like the more we become clear, the more we become aware, the more we are able to take responsibility, we begin to feel a shift internally. And that shift shows up on the outside.
It's a reflection, yeah.
You know, so it shows up with COBIZ coming as your next employer.
Yes.
You know.
Hallelujah.
You know?
Shout out to the COBIZ.
Exactly. It shows up as, you know, more loving conversations in the relationships from your partner. You know, it shows up. I was talking to someone close to me about thoughts that she was having about her husband, you know, and she was like, oh, well, I'm not going to even go into what they are.
Right.
You know,
they
were not good.
Right. We can imagine.
They were not good. And I share with her, you know, it's funny, that's a perspective that you're holding.
Right.
And you feel that way. But I'm telling you, there are women out there who would not feel that way.
Right.
And that you have to know that that is being communicated in the field. And so what you're getting back is that.
Yeah.
You know, so know that we're always creating, like, this whole process of life. It is a process. And it's a continual creation that's going on and on and on. And we're contributing to it every single second.
Every single second. It's funny because I tell this to girlfriends all the time, where they're like, there are no good black men. Yeah, so you attract no good black men.
Oh my God.
I was like, you keep saying that.
Oh my God.
You keep saying that. I said, as for me in my house, I know amazing, wonderful, absolutely phenomenal, dope black men in my life. But that's because I view black men in this very dope, phenomenal, and uplifting kind of way. And I said, so I'm not saying your experiences are not real, because they're valid, they're yours. But I also think if you're speaking something into a certain kind of way, or if you feel something kind of way, you know, in my age group, it's a whole different statement that people say, but I'm at work, so we're not going to say that. But if that's what your experience is internally, that's what you bring to you. And I'm like, I'm not saying that your experience is not real. I'm just saying if that was the ultimate truth, then all of us would have this experience.
Exactly.
But I think it's an experience that you curate for yourself, so let's just shift that a little bit.
Exactly.
Just a little bit. Instead of saying all black men are this, can we just say, I love black men? Let's just start with that. Let's see what happens. Like, we don't have to change our whole narrative. Not saying that your history isn't your history, but there's an opportunity that perspective can be shifted, because that's not my perspective. Exactly.
And at the core of that is some self-hatred.
It's trauma.
Okay.
It's
a conditioning. It's programming,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows up in so many different ways.
It does.
You know, even the ways that we measure and quote unquote put value on people.
Exactly.
You know, like we sometimes feel that, oh, they have to have this kind of job or this kind of income or this kind of whatever, without taking into consideration all the things that have prevented that from happening historically. So I'm saying that, you know, we as a group of folks, we have an opportunity to really look at how we are living out the programming that has been and the conditioning that has been placed on us. It was interesting. I was having a conversation with a couple this past weekend, and I was saying, you know, like, if you look at my background, you know, I grew up in a poor family, a lot of siblings, here in Oakland, and so many things that would not point to my having the life that I'm having now.
Exactly.
You know, and I said, you know, like I just know that it's grace. It's grace, essentially. And then the person responded, say, well, you know, like, a lot of people haven't overcome, blah blah blah. And I said, no, it's not even that. It's that we're living in the program.
Yes.
We're living in the conditioning. We're living in the matrix that has been assigned to us as a group. And that is where our healing has to come. It has to come in, and it has to be done on an individual and collective basis.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't even say anything is bad or less than or anything like that, but just bringing awareness to the fact that, okay, like where does that come from? Why do I feel that way?
Exactly.
Do I feel that way?
Exactly.
You know, like why am I experiencing this? And what I love about this experience of life is that we're all having separate ones and a joint one at the same time. You know? So right here, you can be experiencing abundance, prosperity, love flowing in your life. The person next to you can be experiencing extreme limitation.
Yeah.
You know?
And
that's really the way the world is set up, that we're both individual and collective creators.
Yes.
And so we have a responsibility to continually be looking inside to see, okay, where is this coming from?
Right.
What do I feel? Why do I feel this way?
Yes.
You know, and asking for guidance from our higher sacred self, from our source, to really show us how to get to the core and how to release those patterns.
And I agree. The individual and collective, and I think that's the part that gets lost in the conversation of healing, is that yes, there's the individual experience and the collective experience, and we all experience COVID, right? But individually, I've seen some people's lives take off post-COVID, including my own, and then I've also seen other people's lives completely, for their term, go to hell, right? And so it doesn't mean that we didn't collectively have this, but we also have all kind of gone and shifted in different ways. And so I think that goes back to what we talked about last week, two truths existing at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's like there is your experience, there's my experience, and in the middle, I think, is the collective experience.
Exactly. The collective experience is sort of like there's karma. There's karma means cause and effect. You know, so we think of it sometimes as punishment, but it simply is that for every action there's a reaction. Action, reaction, action, reaction. And we have karma as a country, for instance. The U.S. has its karma. We have racial karma. You know, we have global karma. You know, and every you know, group, family karma, you know, so there's this kind of chain reaction that's going on all the time, and we're creating actions and they have reactions.
Yes.
And so we need to be aware of that. And at some point we need to really, as we clear up this internally, you know, we create more space to have a bigger perspective, a broader perspective of what's happening for the whole, and then we can bring that energy to support the collective healing as well.
Healing begets healing.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree. This was
I think one of the phrases that you hear a lot is hurt people hurt people.
Heal people heal people.
Heal people heal people.
Period.
Exactly.
Period. Heal people heal people.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to continue this.
Yeah, I think you latched on to she turned me and said, I don't know if this is another series.
Right.
I think you said, we probably got a couple more.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more things that we can say,
about.
because there's a lot that can be said about things that we can do to move out of being stuck. And as I say, meditation is always one of them, and it's always one that's top of my list, but there are some other things as well. And there's also things that we can really tap into and begin to make internal transformation. So we're gonna continue this.
Yeah, I'm with it. I love how these things naturally just work.
Yes. And I love this girl.
I love you too.
You know, she is like, she's right on it, you know. And what I love about COVID, by the way, is that it's an intergenerational space.
It is.
So you get the youngins,
yes,
over here making music, doing their thing, whatever, and you get the folks in the middle, and then you
Yes,
get the elders.
the
You know,
elders,
we all
yes.
show up and we're all welcome, and we all try to contribute to benefiting the whole.
Yes, the collective.
Exactly.
See, the individual is the collective.
Exactly.
Right in the co-biz.
Okay, we're almost out of time.
We
so
are.
Shall we do a
little meditation. I'm gonna let you rock with it.
Okay. So sit with your feet flat on the floor. We already invoke the higher frequency energies. I just want us to take a deep breath and connect with that awareness. Bringing in the great compassionate light. Feeling that light as it comes in through your crown and moves its way slowly and anchors in your heart center, right in the center of your chest. And I want to invite you to feel that. Feel it in your heart. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Just allow yourself to drop deeper into this beautiful place of silence, inner silence. Breathe in and exhale. Feel that presence making its way throughout your being, throughout your body. That light infusing your cells, restoring balance, healing what needs to be healed. Feel that light impacting your consciousness. Expanding your awareness. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands together in the Namaskar Mudra, right at your heart center. Prayer Mudra. As we give thanks to the God of our understanding, to our higher sacred self, to the divine presence, to our ancestors, to our teachers and guides, and to the great compassionate light. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace within, peace outside, and peace all around us.
Hey. Thank you again for such an enlightening conversation. Make sure you guys tune in on Thursday as we will be meditating on what we just discussed, where we are stuck, and I look forward to that meditation, Ms. Gwendolyn. Fortunately, we're moving in places where we're progressing, but I've had to always reflect back inward when I feel like I'm stagnant. So I can't wait to actually do a meditation surrounding that. So for those of you who joined us, thank you so much. Shout out to my best friend Celestra, last man